Hi, I'm Andy Glass with WorkshopAddict.com. Cutting thin strips at the table saw can be a dangerous task if you don't have the right accessories to keep your fingers away from that spinning blade. I've whipped up a few very quick and dirty shop jigs that wrap around my factory table saw that simply slide along and allow you to push your material past the blade, keeping your fingers nice and safe. Now, I originally made a 1/2-inch MDF model that has a nice scrap hardwood handle on top, and then I realized that if you change the thickness of the sides, you're able to get even closer to the blade. So the second iteration of my jig, the left-hand side has 1/8-inch hardboard, and then the right-hand side has 1/2-inch MDF. So if you're cutting a little bit wider stock, you can use the 1/2-inch MDF side, and if you're using or you're cutting some thinner strips, you can use the 1/8-inch hardboard side. Now there is a little notch or relief to make this a little bit more comfortable pushing along. I wish I would have put another one on this end. That would make it comfortable if I used the 1/2-inch side as well. So I went and filmed the 1/2-inch MDF side, but keep in mind that if you want to simply change the thickness of the sides like I did on my second iteration, you certainly can do so. Stick around, hope you enjoy.
I start by measuring my table saw fence and adding a 1/16 of an inch to the height to allow for a little clearance, and then I cut the parts to width of the table saw. I double check that all my measurements were correct, and then I can head to the miter saw station to cut the parts to length. I start out by squaring one end of each piece and then putting that square end against my stop block. I clamp the right side of my fence and apply some CA glue to temporarily hold it in place. I then mark out and pre-drill some pilot holes for 3 screws that will secure it permanently. I am driving the screws by hand as MDF can easily strip out. I then apply CA glue to the top piece and press the left side in place. I apply a clamp as the piece had a little bow. I pre-drill and drive 3 screws just like before. At the router table, I apply a round over to the piece of scrap hardwood that we will use for the handle. After rounding over, I wanted a small angle to make it more comfortable, so I did this at the miter saw station. I went back to the router table to apply the round over to the new edges. Using a square to ensure it is in proper alignment, I apply some CA glue to the handle and press it in place on the top piece. I then pre-drill and drive 2 screws. Now we can give it a test run. Here's a small 1/8-inch hardboard side that allows you to get really close to that blade to rip those thin strips.
Well, what do you guys think? I love the second iteration of this with the 2 thicknesses of the sides. It definitely makes cutting thin strips out the table saw much, much easier. They're quick and dirty. I built both of these while filming the first one in about an hour, so it's something you guys can knock out relatively quickly. Yeah, let me know below if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I'll be happy to provide some feedback. We encourage you to follow us on social media as we have product updates, project updates, and exclusive social media giveaways. I'm Andy Glass with Workshop Addict. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.